The weight of seeing too much. When awareness becomes your prison, the unbearable clarity. There's a particular kind of consciousness that most people never experience, and perhaps that's a mercy. It's not intelligence, though it masquerades as such. It's not wisdom, though others often mistake it for that. It's a relentless, unblinking awareness that transforms every moment into an archaeological dig, every conversation into a complex equation, every silence into a message that demands decoding. Imagine never being able to simply be in a moment. Imagine your mind as a surveillance system that never sleeps, cataloging microexpressions, tracking tonal shifts, archiving every inconsistency between what people say and what their bodies reveal. This isn't paranoia. This is hyper-awareness, and it's both a superpower and a life sentence. Most people experience life through frosted glass, details blurred just enough to make existence manageable, to allow rest, to permit the luxury of not knowing. But for those cursed with crystalline perception, there is no merciful blur. Every fracture is visible, every contradiction is glaring. Every emotional undercurrent is felt with the intensity of a riptide. This is what it means to be too aware. And if you recognize yourself in these words, what follows may finally help you understand why you're so exhausted. The perpetual equation, when life becomes a problem to solve for the hyperware mind, existence isn't a river to float down. It's a series of equations demanding immediate solution. You don't just have conversation. You conduct real-time forensic analysis. Why did they hesitate for 1.3 seconds before answering? Why did their smile contract at the corners half a beat too early? Why did they phrase it that way instead of the more natural alternative? A simple "how are you" becomes an intelligence operation. You're simultaneously participating in the exchange and running parallel processing, analyzing word choice, measuring vocal inflection, calculating the delta between their stated mood and their physiological tells. This isn't conscious choice. Your nervous system doesn't know how to engage without also monitoring. It's like trying to enjoy a movie while simultaneously being the director, cinematographer, and film critic all at once, all the time. The cruelty of this mental architecture is that it feels responsible. It feels like due diligence. You're not overthinking, you're being thorough. You're not paranoid, you're pattern matching. You're not anxious, you're simply refusing to be blindsided again. But here's what's actually happening. The equation has replaced the experience. You've become so skilled at solving what moments mean that you've forgotten how to inhabit what moments are. Precision has murdered presence. Analysis has assassinated aliveness. Every text message isn't communication, it's a data point. Every delayed response isn't timing. It's a signal requiring interpretation. Every shift in someone's energy isn't just their day. It's a puzzle piece that must fit into your constantly updating model of reality. And beneath all this intellectual activity lies a simple, devastating truth. You're not solving life. You're avoiding feeling it. The tyranny of meta-awareness. Watching yourself watch yourself. There's a psychological phenomenon that separates the deeply aware from everyone else. It's called metacognition, the ability to observe your own thought processes in real time. For most people, it's an occasional visitor. For you, it's a permanent resident that never pays rent. You don't just feel sad, you notice yourself feeling sad, then immediately interrogate the sadness. Is this proportional? Is this old trauma or present reality? What does this say about my emotional regulation? Why am I still struggling with this? By the time the emotion completes its natural cycle, your analytical mind has already performed an autopsy on it. Even joy isn't safe. You can't laugh without some part of you stepping back, clipboard in hand, documenting the laughter. How long will this last? What will end it? Should I be feeling this given what I know is coming? This is the peculiar hell of meta-awareness. You're simultaneously the dancer and the dance critic. You're ice skating while grading your own performance. You're telling a story while editing it in real time. You're living your life while writing its review. This creates depth. Yes, but it also creates distance, an unbridgeable gap between you and direct experience. You're always slightly removed, always watching yourself through a two-way mirror, never fully absorbed in the moment, because part of you is taking notes on your absorption. Over time, this transforms your inner world into a panopticon. Every thought is monitored. Every feeling is reviewed. Every impulse is filtered through multiple layers of self-surveillance before it's permitted to exist. What began as self-awareness curdles into self-interruption. You can no longer think a thought without thinking about thinking it. You can no longer feel a feeling without analyzing the feeling about the feeling. Spontaneity becomes impossible. Authenticity becomes a performance you're simultaneously starring in and directing. And slowly, so slowly you don't notice it happening. You stop being a person and become a consciousness studying itself, forever separate, forever observing, forever alone. When you see behind the curtain, the grief of lost innocence, there comes a moment in the life of every hyper-aware person when perception crosses a threshold it can never uncross. You begin to see the machinery beneath human behavior, the invisible wires, the hidden motivations, the gap between what people believe about themselves and what they actually are. You notice that kindness often carries invoices, that affection frequently includes terms and conditions, that love and fear are so entangled that separating them becomes impossible. You realize that most communication is translation, most connection is projection, most certainty is performance masking terror. And once you see this, truly see it, something precious dies. Not cynicism, not bitterness, something more fundamental, relational innocence. The ability to take words at face value, to receive gestures without deconstruction, to experience love as something uncomplicated, unambiguous, uncontaminated by analysis. This is the loss no one prepares you for. You don't become cruel, you become careful. You don't become jaded, you become impossibly, exhaustingly aware of how fragile everything is, how much projection masquerades as perception, how often people contradict themselves without noticing, how love and manipulation can coexist in the same gesture. Compliments arrive with footnotes. Apologies come with fine print. Promises sound conditional even when they're sincere. You can still appreciate beautiful moments, but you're also aware of the scaffolding holding them together. The psychological